Weak men talk too much. They argue, they explain, they shout to be heard. Every word they speak shows fear. Every explanation proves they are unsure. But the strong man stays silent. Machiavelli taught this: the moment you explain yourself, you lose power. The moment you justify, you bow down. A man who talks less controls more. His silence is not empty. It is heavy. It makes people think. It makes them doubt. It makes them afraid. Silence is a weapon. It cuts deeper than words. It makes others wonder, what is he thinking? What is he planning? Why doesn't he need to speak? Their mind becomes your servant. Their imagination works for you. They break themselves while you remain untouchable. Look around. When you say nothing, others panic. They try to fill the gap. They reveal their weakness. They show their fear. But you, calm, still, silent, become stronger in their eyes. The predator does not roar before the kill. The king does not beg to be crowned. True power does not need to shout. Power waits. Power watches. Power strikes only when the time is perfect. So when they push you to speak, hold your silence. When they expect your anger, stay calm. When they demand your words, deny them. Silence is not weakness. Silence is control. Silence defeats everyone. Comment right now: my silence is power. Silence is not weakness. Silence is a weapon. Most people don't understand this. They think silence means you have nothing to say. They think silence means you are lost. But the truth is the opposite. Silence means you are in control. Silence means you don't need to waste your energy. Silence means they must do the work, not you. Machiavelli warned rulers about this centuries ago. A prince who speaks too much reveals his mind. His enemies know his fears, his doubts, his desires. But a prince who stays quiet forces everyone around him to guess. And when people are left guessing, they create their own prison. They torture themselves with questions that never end. What is he thinking? Why is he calm? What does he know that I don't? This is why silence is feared more than anger. Anger is clear. Anger can be measured. But silence? Silence is a storm with no map. No one knows how far it reaches or when it will strike. That is why the silent man holds all the cards. When you remain silent, you create space. And human nature hates empty space. People rush to fill it. They talk. They over-explain. They expose what they were trying to hide. You learn everything while giving away nothing. Think of it like war. Your enemy throws every weapon they have into the open while you keep your sword hidden. Who wins? The one who knows more and reveals less. In every room, the loudest man looks strong, but he is the weakest. The quiet one is the shadow they fear. His silence presses down on them. It breaks their confidence. It makes them feel small. And in that moment, without a single word, the silent man becomes the master. So do not think silence is passive. It is not. Silence is active, sharp, and dangerous. It is a blade hidden in the dark. It is a trap no one can escape. Use it, master it, make it your armor and your sword. Comment now: my silence is my weapon. Machiavelli was not a dreamer. He was not a man of illusions. He looked at the world as it is, harsh, ruthless, without mercy. And in that world, he saw a truth most people cannot accept. The moment you explain yourself, you lose. The moment you justify your actions, you show weakness. Why? Because when you explain, you put yourself below the other person. You admit that they have the right to question you. You admit that their opinion matters. And power is never in the hands of the one who answers. It belongs to the one who does not. Machiavelli advised rulers: do not reveal too much. Do not open your heart. Do not give your enemies the map to your soul. A leader who talks too much will always be betrayed by his own words. Silence is the armor of kings. Silence is the mask that keeps rivals blind. Think of this in your own life. When someone demands answers, where were you? Why did you do that? What did you mean? The weak man rushes to explain. He tries to clear his name. He bleeds information, and with every word, his power shrinks. But the strong man stays calm. He gives nothing. His silence turns the questions back on them. Doubt eats them alive. This is why rulers, warriors, and men of power are feared when they are silent. Their silence is not empty, it is heavy. It says, I don't owe you anything. I move on my terms. I answer to no one. That is the Machiavellian truth. Understand this. People respect what they cannot read. They fear what they cannot predict. And they obey what they cannot control. That is why the man of silence always rises above the man of noise. So remember Machiavelli's warning. Do not explain. Do not justify. To explain is to kneel. To justify is to surrender. Hold your silence. Protect it like a crown. Because once it is lost, power is gone with it. Comment right now. I will never explain. Power is not always about strength. Power is not always about words. Real power comes from mystery. The less they know about you, the more they imagine. And what they imagine is always greater, darker, and more dangerous than the truth. Machiavelli understood this deeply. He knew that a ruler who speaks too much, reveals too much, and shows too much, loses the respect of his people. Why? Because mystery is what makes men larger than life. Mystery builds fear, respect, and fascination. Remove the mystery, and you are just another man. Think about it. The man who explains everything about himself is predictable. He is small. He is easy to understand, and what is understood can be controlled. But the man who stays silent, the man who hides his thoughts, he becomes untouchable. He becomes a question mark in every mind. And that question mark is where power lives. When you walk into a room, speak less. Observe more. Let them wonder what you think of them. Let them wonder what you are planning. When you give them nothing, they will give you everything. Their behavior will shift. Their voices will tremble. Their fear will reveal itself in every glance. This is the power of mystery. It forces others to show their hand, while you keep yours hidden. Control through mystery also creates obsession. People cannot stand what they cannot solve. They will spend hours, days, even years trying to figure you out. And in that time, they will give you their focus, their energy, their respect, while you remain silent, calm, untouchable. Remember, a loud man is quickly forgotten, but a mysterious man is never ignored. Silence makes you heavy. Mystery makes you unforgettable. Together, they make you dangerous. So guard your thoughts. Speak less than you know. Act less than you can. Let them guess. Let them doubt. Let them fear. That is how you control them without lifting a finger. Comment right now. I control through silence and mystery. A man who cannot control himself will never control the world. This is the first law of Stoic masculinity. Power is not built on shouting, on anger, or on endless words. Power is built on discipline, on calmness, on the ability to stay still when everyone else is shaking. Look at the weak man. His emotions control him. Someone insults him, and he reacts. Someone doubts him, and he explains. Someone challenges him, and he defends himself like a cornered animal. He is loud, but he is powerless. He is present, but he is not respected. His weakness is written on his face. Now look at the Stoic man. He does not rush. He does not waste words. He does not show his emotions like a child. He listens. He observes. He waits. And because he waits, he always strikes at the perfect moment. His silence is not emptiness. It is the sign of a mind sharper than steel. Machiavelli would tell you, the ruler who controls his tongue controls his kingdom. The man who controls his emotions controls his life. This is why Stoicism and silence are the twin pillars of power. Without them, you are a slave to every attack. With them, you become untouchable. Think of it like war. The enemy that rushes forward with noise and chaos always loses. The army that waits, watches, and moves with precision always wins. This is the lesson of silence. This is the lesson of Stoic masculinity. To live this way, you must train yourself. Do not answer every question. Do not react to every insult. Do not explain your every move. When they expect noise, give them calm. When they expect anger, give them silence. When they expect weakness, give them nothing. In that nothing, you will find everything: respect, fear, and control. People cannot touch the man who is calm under fire. They cannot break the man who answers with silence. That is the mark of a true man. That is the mark of power. Comment now. Calm is my power. Silence is not just control. Silence is not just power. Silence is torture. This is the side of silence most people never see, the side Machiavelli would admire, because it bends the human mind until it breaks. When you say nothing, people begin to hear everything. Their mind does not rest. They replay your silence again and again. Why didn't he answer? What does he know? What does he plan? Did I offend him? Did I lose him? Their own imagination becomes your soldier, striking them day and night without pause. This is dark psychology. Humans fear the unknown more than they fear the truth. If you tell them your thoughts, they relax. They may not like your words, but at least they know. But when you stay silent, you give them nothing, and nothing is terrifying. It creates a storm inside them that grows bigger every minute. Watch how silence exposes desperation. A man who cannot stand your silence will talk more, reveal more, even beg for a reaction. He will show his weakness in every word he spills. A woman who cannot endure your silence will chase, question, and break herself trying to understand what you are hiding. Silence forces them to tear themselves apart. This is why silence is feared more than anger. Anger can be measured. Silence cannot. Anger has a beginning and an end. Silence has no limits. It spreads into every corner of their mind until it owns them completely. The true Machiavellian knows this. You do not always need to fight your enemy. Sometimes you simply deny them your voice. Let them destroy themselves with questions. Let them carry the weight of your silence like chains around their neck. Use this carefully. Use this with intent. But never forget, it is the most ruthless weapon you own. Comment right now. My silence controls their mind. Silence is powerful. But there is one form of silence that is even greater. It is not just when you refuse to speak. It is not just when you stay calm in the middle of noise. It is when you are completely absent, when you vanish, when your presence is gone, but your shadow still rules the room. This is the echo of absence. Most people believe presence creates influence. They think they must always be seen, always be heard, always be in front of others to matter. But this is weakness. Presence gives people access to you. Presence allows them to read you, to measure you, to get comfortable with you. And comfort kills respect. Absence is different. Absence creates mystery. Absence creates longing. Absence creates fear. When you are not there, they think of you more. They imagine you more. They build stories in their head about what you are doing, where you are, and why you are silent. Your absence is louder than their words. Think of history's rulers and conquerors. The most feared were not the ones who always appeared in front of the crowd. The most feared were the ones who appeared rarely. The king who hides inside the castle is respected more than the king who begs for cheers in the marketplace. Why? Because scarcity builds value. Scarcity builds fear. What is rare becomes powerful. When you remove yourself, people feel your weight more. They look at the empty chair and wonder what you would have said. They wait for your arrival and grow restless when you don't appear. They replay your last words in their minds because you gave them no new ones. This is the echo of absence. It haunts them like a ghost that never leaves. Absence also punishes. When someone disrespects you, do not shout, do not argue, do not fight, withdraw. Disappear. Deny them your presence. Your absence becomes a mirror that forces them to see their own weakness. They will crave your return. They will regret their disrespect. They will learn the value of your silence only when it is too late. But understand this: absence must be used with precision. Too much absence, and they will forget you. Too little, and they will grow used to you. The power lies in balance. Appear rarely. Speak rarely. Make your presence scarce, and every move will feel larger than life. The echo of absence is the highest form of silence. It does not just defeat your enemies, it makes them destroy themselves in your absence. It forces them to chase ghosts, to fight shadows, to suffer from the weight of what is not even there. This is why Machiavelli would tell you, sometimes the most powerful move is no move at all. Sometimes the strongest presence is your absence. So remember this law: show yourself less, speak less, withdraw when needed. Let your silence echo, let your absence haunt. That is how you become unforgettable. That is how you become untouchable. Comment right now: my absence is power. There comes a point when silence is no longer just a tactic. It becomes who you are. It becomes a state of being, a fortress no one can enter, a crown no one can take. This is the untouchable state. Most men live as open books. You can read them in a moment. Their emotions leak from their faces. Their anger spills from their mouths. Their fear shows in their eyes. They are easy to control, easy to break. But the man of silence is different. He hides everything. His calm face is unreadable. His voice, when he chooses to use it, is measured and sharp. His silence makes him untouchable. When you master silence, people lose their power over you. They cannot push you. They cannot trap you. They cannot control you with their questions, because you give them nothing. Every word they want from you is denied, and in that denial, they weaken. They become restless, emotional, desperate. You remain still, steady, unshaken. Machiavelli taught that the ruler who reveals little holds the throne longer. Why? Because mystery keeps enemies blind. If they cannot read you, they cannot plan against you. If they cannot predict you, they cannot defeat you. Your silence becomes your shield. Your silence becomes your weapon. The untouchable state is not only about protecting yourself, it is about becoming greater than yourself. When you speak less, people believe you know more. When you react less, they believe you feel more. When you reveal nothing, they believe you hold everything. Silence builds an image far larger than your reality, and in the world of power, image is everything. Think of the men who are remembered through history, the cold leaders, the calm warriors, the mysterious rulers. They are remembered not for their endless words, but for their silence that carried weight heavier than any speech. Their silence was not emptiness, it was presence, a presence that never faded, even centuries later. The untouchable state is reached when your silence is so strong that no insult moves you, no attack shakes you, no enemy can get close. You become a wall, you become a storm they cannot predict. You become a ghost they cannot hold. That is what makes you untouchable. Understand this: the loud man can be destroyed, the reactive man can be broken, but the silent man cannot be touched. He owns himself completely, and the man who owns himself owns the world. So train yourself to reach this state. Guard your words, guard your emotions, guard your presence. Speak only when it serves you. Act only when the time is right. Until then, stay silent, stay untouchable. Comment right now: I am untouchable. Every man learns this truth too late. The world does not reward those who explain themselves. The world does not respect those who beg to be understood. The world respects only those who move in silence, strike with precision, and reveal nothing. This is the cold lesson. Think about it. When you explain, you put yourself below. You admit their question has power. You admit their opinion matters, and in that moment, your strength bleeds away. The man who explains himself is already kneeling. The man who justifies is already defeated. Machiavelli warned rulers about this mistake. He knew that once a leader begins to justify his every move, his subjects no longer fear him, his rivals no longer respect him, his words lose weight, because words without mystery are just noise. Power is not in the man who explains, it is in the man who refuses to. This is why silence defeats everyone. It denies them control, it denies them access, it denies them the comfort of knowing what you think. Your silence keeps them in chains of doubt. They are trapped in their own questions while you walk free. Understand this: Silence is not retreat. Silence is not surrender. Silence is the battlefield where you win without fighting. Every second you withhold words, you force the other side to move first. They make the mistakes. They reveal their hand. They show their weakness. And you? You stay calm. You stay cold. You stay in power. The cold lesson is simple. Never give them what they want. They want your anger. Don't give it. They want your words. Deny them. They want your weakness. Bury it. Every reaction is a gift, and you owe them nothing. Look at the strongest men in history. They were not the ones who spoke the loudest. They were not the ones who explained themselves to the crowd. They were the ones who mastered the art of silence. Their calm unsettled entire nations. Their silence weighed heavier than 1,000 speeches. Their enemies broke themselves trying to read a face that never changed. This is what you must become. A man who does not explain. A man who does not justify. A man who lets silence speak louder than any word. The one who cannot be controlled, cannot be predicted, and cannot be touched. This is the cold truth. In silence, you are untouchable. In silence, you are feared. In silence, you defeat everyone. Comment right now. I will never explain. Now you understand the lesson. Silence is not weakness. Silence is not retreat. Silence is the greatest weapon a man can carry. It makes you untouchable. It makes you feared. It makes you remembered. This is not theory. This is not philosophy. This is survival. This is power. The world wants you loud. The world wants you reactive. The world wants you explaining yourself, defending yourself, justifying your existence. But every time you give them that, you lose. Every time you explain, you bow. Every time you react, you bleed. The cold truth is this. You owe nothing. You owe no one an answer. You owe no one your words. You owe no one your weakness. You are not here to be understood. You are here to rule yourself, and through yourself, rule the world. The man of silence is not a victim. He is not a servant. He is not begging for approval. He is the master. He is the predator. He is the one everyone whispers about when he leaves the room. His absence shakes the walls. His silence bends their minds, and his calm destroys their noise. So choose now. Will you keep wasting your breath, like the weak? Or will you step into silence and become untouchable? Will you let their questions chain you? Or will you break free by refusing to explain? Remember this, the predator never warns. The king never begs. Power never explains. Power is silent. I want you to claim this truth. Comment one last time. My silence is power. Write it. Own it. Let it burn into your mind. Because the moment you accept it, you step out of weakness and into power. And if you want more laws like this, more weapons for your mind, then do what must be done. Like this video. Subscribe to this channel, Laws of Power. Turn on notifications so you never miss the knowledge that makes you untouchable. This is your path. Walk it in silence. Walk it with power. And never forget, in silence, you defeat everyone.